If you're like me, you think of the sample and hold as a function that you turn on. In various synthesizers, you just turn the sample and hold on, and it's sometimes a knob in like the filter or in the oscillator, or a modulation choice that you switch to, and then pow, you've got sample and hold. And we have a concept of what sample and hold is based upon that, because it's usually this one particular sound, which I'm about to show you. But when you look at the MS-20, you don't get a sample and hold modulation option. All you get are these 3 ports. And the first time I saw that, I'm like, well, how's that supposed to work? And my exposure to modular synthesis has taught me how that's supposed to work. And it turns out it's pretty easy. Let me explain it to you though. Sample and hold takes a sample of voltage and then holds that sample, hence the name. So basically it looks at a signal that's coming in at periodic points and it says, okay, where's that voltage now? Okay, it's at, whatever, name a number. It's there. Okay, I'll hold that. Okay, now I'm going to sample it again. I'm going to look and see where the voltage is. Oh, it's up here. Okay, I'll hold that. And that's all it's really doing. So what it needs 2 things. It needs a voltage to look at, and then some sort of thing to indicate how often it should look. And we have both in this synthesizer. So we're in luck. Okay. First of all, one of the best things that we're most accustomed to hearing sample and hold sample is noise, because noise is made up of random voltages. So every time it looks at the voltage to see where it's at, it gets some weird random number. And we like that because there are very specific outcomes that happen when that happens. So we're taking the pink noise output, which is random voltages, and putting it into the input. That's where it's getting its voltage sample from. Now we have to define how often that happens. And the best way to do that, there's actually a number of ways that you could do it. We're going to get into what the momentary switch does. We can actually use the momentary switch and randomly decide when it should make the voltage sample. But instead of that, we're going to do something much more mechanical, and we'll just take the square wave output of the modulation generator, which acts as our clock. Okay, and then all we need to do is go to the output and direct it where we want it to go. Find out what we want it to affect, because it's really convenient for us right now. For the purposes of demonstration, I'm going to plug it into total so we can hear how it sounds when it controls all 3 of the different things we have going on here, the oscillators and both filters. So let's see how we did. Why don't we put it on something that doesn't sound all crazy? Still sounding crazy. There we go. Okay, that's a nice sound. And let's hear what happens when we direct the sample and hold to the sample and hold is taking the input noise, looking at it periodically based on the frequency of the modulation generator, holding those voltages that it finds, and we're directing those voltages to, right now, the oscillators. So we can hear random pitches, those are the random voltages, being held, and they're happening at the rate defined by the modulation generator. There's a little bit of wackiness in there, but it's actually pretty cool. And we can control how often that sampling takes place, because it's the modulation generator, with the frequency of the modulation generator. We can mess it up by, on the MS-20, it's best if you have the modulation generator's waveform all the way to the right when you're doing sample and hold. That's like super crucial. That and drawing from the pink noise. Those are the two things you want to do. Let's hear how it sounds with a low pass. You can hear it finding each of those individual voltages and then directing them to the filter cutoff point. Then we can use all of them, actually. And you can see just from that little tiny thing that I was doing, this voltage can do some really cool stuff when it's directed, whenever. And let's also face the fact that we don't have to necessarily use the pink noise as the source of voltage. An envelope will work. It'll take some fiddling to get what you're looking for. Or even the output, the sawtooth output from the modulation generator can be used, or another source, even the pitch wheel, or like I said, we can use like the momentary switch as a clock to indicate when the sample should take place. Let's try that. Okay, and that's basically how the sample and hold works. And you can direct that voltage output from the sample and the hold to any number of things. A great thing you can do is direct it to the VCA, where you can control it with the wheel, cause it to happen with the wheel, or back off with the wheel. Or you could direct it to the control input of the voltage controlled amplifier, and you could do something interesting with noise. There's a huge variety of things you can do.